This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Rolla. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, big development in progress over in Bimini. Bimini Big Game Club and Marina is completing the final phase of a $6 million plus renovation. The property is taking on a new look, and two Bahamian managers are playing a pivotal role in this transformation. Megan Shepard spoke with one of them for more insight on Big Game's big revamp.
The Bimini Big Game Resort and Club has international recognition as a spot frequented by Ernest Hemingway and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It is also a fisherman's go-to resort when visiting the northern Bahamas. General Manager Larry Williams says they are under a mandate to expand their offerings and ensure that the Big Game Resort is the place to be, no matter your interests.
We're having theme nights as well. So in a restaurant, we're going to have nights where there's a live band. Then we're opening a shark dive, so that you can go and feed hammerhead sharks and the like. We also have boat tours, and then we're gonna have a themed restaurant over there. Then we're gonna open a fine dining restaurant that was patronized by Hemingway, Martin Luther King. So we're gonna revive that and give a more of a variety of offering to our clientele.
Williams says the owners are very committed to ensuring that this property is a huge success. He says they have invested a large sum of money and they are confident that with renovations, coupled with constant training, Big Game will be a major hit.
Right now what we're doing is putting in a new seawall. The noise you hear in the background now is a vibrohammer putting in sheet piles. So we're modernizing that side of what we offer with the intent of bringing more boaters in. And we think that will happen because of the advertising that we're doing and the way we're positioning ourselves.
Williams adds that they are now working with a new marketing team and staff is undergoing more training.
We're also going to attend CHTA. As a matter of fact, I'm flying off next week to attend a conference to promote what we do. And we're also going to attend more boat shows and dive shows. We intend to promote our dive more. I can't say too much about that right now, but in the very near future, we're going to be making some changes there that will bring some excitement to what we offer in that regard.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the Grand Bahama Port Authority has announced that it has approved the power company's application for a rate adjustment. The power company and its regulators say this adjustment can result in a decline in the cost of electricity. Tonight, a local activist who has been at the forefront of the battle for reduced rates is weighing in on this latest development. Sabrina Brown has the details.
Community activist Troy Garvey and others have been agitating for lower electricity rates on Grand Bahama for years, and he believes the power company's recent rate application approval is a step in the right direction. He applauds Grand Bahama Power and its regulator, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, for taking steps to lower the cost of electricity on the island.
I would like to thank the Grand Bahama Power Company for looking into our recommendation and utilizing it, not only this time, but even from the official complaint that was submitted in November of 2011. They have extracted our concerns out of that and applied it to the betterment of the people today. And now it's clear that this rate application will see a decrease between 7 and 12%.
Garvey, who has been in ongoing talks with officials at the power company, says this is just the beginning of better things to come for consumers on Grand Bahama.
Not only that you're going to see a rate decrease, they're going to do alternative renewable energy, they're going to do the grid tie-in, they're going to do everything that is going to be beneficial for people to see a reduction in their consumption of power here in Grand Bahama.
While he believes the rate approval is good news, Garvey and activist Etienne Farquharson have one concern.
We talk about the Grand Bahama Power Company, but what we would like for the government to do is take that 7.5% value-added tax off the power bill. That is a big issue.
I have to concur with Troy when he says that government needs to look at the impact of the imposition of the 7.5% VAT.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Now, not everyone is convinced. Members of the Coalition of Concerned Citizens say despite the adjustment, consumers are still paying the highest rate in the country. Convener of the Grand Bahama Coalition for Concerned Citizens, Eddie Victor, says the Grand Bahama Power Company's numbers are all smoke and mirrors that will only confuse Grand Bahamians.
They're trying their best to deflect everyone from the base rate and talk about the oil-in rate. From their own words, the fuel surcharge is a 100% pass-through. That means if it goes up, it's passed on to the consumer. But what has not happened is that as oil was going down, they did not pass it on to the consumers. Now we're doing our further analysis. But what we realize now, when you look at this fuel surcharge, the Grand Bahama Power Company has failed to pass on millions of dollars of savings to the customers.
According to a statement issued by the Grand Bahama Port Authority, regardless of one's grouping, residential, commercial, or general service large, you will see a decrease in the amount of money that you pay for the total power bill over the next 2 years. But Victor says residents could only see a significant decrease if the power company passes on the savings from global oil prices to consumers.
They're hiding behind an excuse called hedging. It's a big excuse. How can a hedging program be in place since June 2014 up to January 2016 while oil prices are going down?
The coalition's convener says he hopes consumers are able to see the big picture, and that is why he contends that the coalition will continue this fight.
The regulator is supposed to safeguard the consumers. They have not been. They're more concerned about big business. We need partners, development partners in our island to help to bring our island to the place it needs to be. Many investors have been turned away because of the cost of electricity. And many, I've talked to even an investor today, they're looking at Grand Bahama, but one of the concerns is the cost of electricity.
In other news, a major concern for stakeholders in the medical profession is what impact the National Health Insurance Plan will have on those in the private sector. A consultant working with the government to develop the national initiative is allaying those fears. Joan Davis-Roll has this story.
As stakeholders in the medical profession continue to weigh in on the historic National Health Insurance Plan, the issue of how this plan will affect the income of doctors in the private sector has become a major concern. Consultant James Saccone, president of the United States-based consultant firm Sagnis International, says when it comes to NHI, private physicians stand to gain, not lose.
In this initial phase where we're covering only primary health care services, the relationship between the insurer and the primary health care provider will be essentially based on a contract that allows the provider to enroll people. So you have to sign up with your doctor, essentially, and then each person will have a value assigned to them. So based on the number of people you sign up as a doctor, that's how much money you would get paid. Link that to some performance indicators. So there's actually what we call pay for performance. So we can incentivize, doctors to get more people vaccinated, to have diabetics under control, to make sure hypertensive people are taking their medicines and all of those things.
The international consultant weighed in on the role of private health facilities versus public health care as it relates to NHI.
How would this affect private, because we have private physicians who are here, how would it affect their businesses when persons can come to a hospital or clinic facility and have health care free?
Well, our expectation is actually that the private physicians will benefit greatly under this, because now their pool of patients is limited by people who have private health insurance or who can pay out of pocket. But we're actually proposing that NHI would allow people to access private providers, and that would be covered by national health insurance. So for us, the opportunity is really of an expanding market for the private physicians, And from the public perspective, we want the capacity of the private sector to be used in order to ensure that everybody can get access to care.
The government has announced significant improvements in healthcare facilities, as Zacconi believes this is key to ensuring the success of this historic healthcare initiative.
When you can choose to go to Sunrise or choose to go to 8 Mile, then you have a choice as an individual, which we think Bahamians feel is an important part of culture.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us, there's more news right after this.